This new R. Kelly documentary is really disturbing. We're going to learn that not only did R. Kelly take advantage of other people's daughters, the daughter in this documentary is implying that R. Kelly touched his own daughter inappropriately. So we have R. Kelly's daughter and R. Kelly's son. But if these kids think they're only further exposing their father, they're also exposing their deadbeat mother. Andrea Kelly, R. Kelly's wife. I think they were married for 13 years. This woman even refuses to drop the last name Kelly, but she's out here crying that she too was a victim. So why do you desperately want to hold on to a man that you claim was abusing you? Remember when the rumors, at that time they were just rumors, that R. Kelly was, touching girls. I mean, not the first time, because it's been around for a long time. People have been talking about R. Kelly and Aaliyah, but I'm talking about when it picked up steam, when the momentum it was gathering that eventually led him to where he is, 30 years in jail. I remember Tasha K interviewed so many of those women before we had the documentary Surviving R. Kelly. You guys remember that? It was, I believe, on Lifetime. Anyway, Andrea, R. Kelly's wife, was like, leave him alone. They're just lying on him. The moment R. Kelly got indicted, she changed her tune, right? She was now the victim. Oh, he was such a bad husband, right? But why were you defending him initially? If you didn't want to say anything about him, you should have kept quiet instead of defending him. But anyway, so there's a documentary that is going to be dropping October 11th. The daughter is telling her story. The ex-wife is in it, and her brother, who is Robert Kelly Jr., is also in it. And the name of the documentary is R. Kelly's Karma, A Daughter's Journey. Now, what we're going to hear is making me and other people side-eye Diddy about his 3 daughters. Diddy has 4 daughters, right? He has Chance, who is 18, the 2 twins, Jesse, is it Jesse? Or Leslie, I think. Leslie and Delilah, and then Love. Love is almost 2 years old. So I'm mostly focused on those 3 girls, right, that are teenagers. What R. Kelly's daughter is going to say will make you scared for Diddy's children, especially Diddy. I think Diddy, no, not I think. Given what we've learned, Diddy's worse than R. Kelly. Now, some people say, well, if you let, what's her name, a Jaguar Wright tell it, Jay-Z is worse. It's just that he's smarter. But anyway, so let's read an article from the Jasmine brand. They got the exclusive on this upcoming documentary, R. Kelly's daughter saying that what he did to me changed my life completely. So, R. Kelly's daughter shares heartbreaking allegations about her father in a new documentary. That millisecond changed my life. Okay, so while the public may think they know all the disturbing crimes that Robert Kelly has been found guilty of, they are new alarming allegations surrounding his children. Now listen, there are some criminals, they don't touch anybody in their family, especially their children. And there are some criminals, they know no boundaries, right? They're predators to their own children. And this is what it's sounding like when it comes to R. Kelly. Anyway, one of R. Kelly's daughters alleges that the singer, who is currently in jail, did something inappropriate and heartbreaking while she was a child. And we're going to talk about why I think we should side-eye Diddy, because he's worse than R. Kelly. So if R. Kelly could do something inappropriate to his daughter, anyway, In an exclusive clip, which is a trailer obtained by the Jasmine brand, R. Kelly's children speak about their experience with their father and the current drama he faces, right? Drama. He's a criminal. He's in jail 30 years. I don't think we call that drama, okay? The singer's ex-wife, Drea Kelly, I guess her real name is Andrea, Drea, sobs. She's crying, right? So fake. I'm sorry. I know that she's a wife, and I know that she, just based on everything that was exposed in R. Kelly's case, that his wife went through some things, but based on her behavior and the things that she does, she comes across as an enabler for Kelly. She wanted the lifestyle. Even though he didn't treat her as a good husband should, she was willing to take all of that just to remain in R. Kelly's wife. So Robert Kelly's wife sobs, ex-wife sobs, about what he allegedly did to their kids. And his daughter, Joanne Kelly, alludes to a heartbreaking thing Robert did while she was a child. What we're going to hear in this clip is R. Kelly's daughter.
Nobody wants to be the child of the father that is out here hurting women and children.
And we're also going to hear from R. Kelly's son.
Everywhere we go, everything we do, it's always gonna have some type of like.
Robert and his wife were married from 1996 to 2009. So that's like 13 years, right? This particular daughter is also known as Buki Abby, but her real name is Joanne Kelly. Anyway, so let's go through what is so heartbreaking about this documentary, that she was also a victim of Robert Kelly. Not only the other girls that we saw, but she too. And what's even worse is that she was a tiny child. And I say tiny because the other girls were also children. Like when Aaliyah got with R. Kelly, she was a child. She wasn't even like, what, 16? But this one was much younger than that. She was really a child. So one thing we know is that Joanne Kelly stood with her father's accusers, and she did it publicly because she put up an Instagram post basically supporting all the women that were accusing her father of what he's been convicted of, right? But we didn't know that she was standing with them not only because she was supporting them as a woman, but because she was also a victim, but she was not ready to tell her story at that time. So in the documentary, she says, nobody wants to be the child of a father that is out there hurting women and children. He knows exactly why we can't have the relationship we would like to have with him. And they're talking about Robert Kelly. He was my everything, his daughter says. I mean, my father was my everything. Most of us girls who are lucky enough to grow up with a father in the house, and a good father, he really is your everything. You look up to your father. You look up to your mother too. But there's a special bond between a daughter that looks up to the father as their first hero and their mother as their first shiro. You know what I mean? Anyway, she says, he was my everything. For a long time, I didn't even want to believe it happened.
He was my everything. For a long time, I didn't even want to believe that it happened.
I didn't know that even if he was a bad person, he would do something to me. That even if your father, who is supposed to protect you above all else, would do something to you, right? I really feel like that 1 millisecond completely changed my whole life.
I really feel like that 1 millisecond completely just changed my whole life.
If my son asks questions, I'm going to be as truthful as possible. I will not be taking my son to a prison to meet his grandfather. And I don't blame her, excuse me. If what we think you're saying is what you're saying, Why would you? No, it's just such a shame. Do you know that they're coming for Chris Brown now? That's another video. Stop my phone. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so we heard what Joanne Kelly had to say. Then we go to his son, his namesake, Robert Jr. Kelly. In this trailer, he really didn't say a lot.
Everywhere we go, everything we do, it's always gonna have some type of like double meaning under it, or someone's gonna read between lines that aren't there.
Which is true, because you're Robert Kelly's children, right? You're Robert Kelly's son, especially for his son. He has to be very careful how he moves around women. I'm afraid that he has to walk like he's walking around eggshells when it comes to women, right? Especially his significant other, right? If he ever yells at her, if he ever does anything bad, they're always going to say, "You're just like your father," right? And who wants to be like Robert Kelly right now? Who wants to be like Diddy? Nobody. So he has to be very careful. He can end up going to jail for something very little just because of who his father is. He has to be intentional. He has to be very careful about how he's treating women. Now, let's move on to his ex-wife, Andrea or Drea Kelly, right? We know this girl is a dancer, a good dancer at that. And I think she recently went viral dancing to, I believe, Beyonce's song. So she also used to work with R. Kelly. I think that's how they met. I'm not sure. I don't know the story of how they met, but she was definitely an asset to R. Kelly's team when it came to, choreography, dancing, right? So she says, and she's crying in this documentary. And okay, let's just hear what she says. She says, "Just because you're not a good husband doesn't mean you can't be a good father. And the fact that he didn't try," she says. Now listen, I said this about Diddy when Albie Shaw was trying to fight for his son recently and said that his son has Stockholm syndrome. And I said there are some people online saying that Diddy may have been a great dad, just a bad boyfriend. I'm like, there's no way Diddy was a good father. Because if he was a good father, he always would have thought about the things he did, his actions, because he would understand that those actions would have negative impact on his children as they are now. You see, they may punish Diddy for what he did, but his children are also being punished. They are suffering. So there's no way here we can say he was not a good husband, but we expected him to be a good father. No. Especially if you're in the same household. Your kids are seeing you being a bad husband. Therefore, you hurt your children. I mean, so many people, I don't care whether it's just a girlfriend, when you live together with your girlfriend and you have children and you think, I love my children, but I can't stand my significant other. Therefore, you're always arguing in front of your children, but act loving to you're always arguing, yes, in front of your children, but you act loving to your children. You hurt your children too.
Just because you're not a good husband doesn't mean you can't be a good father. And the fact that he didn't even try.
So she says, what he did to me, he did to me. But you didn't have to do it to my dumb kids. So I guess they're not going to tell us exactly what he did, though we get an idea based on what the daughter said, right? My question is, Drea, where were you? Didn't you know that he was capable of doing these things to your children? It's not like you were oblivious to the several women that R. Kelly was dealing with while you were married to him, right? There are so many rumors allegedly that you knew that R. Kelly was attracted to much younger children. I mean, much younger women, some even children, some underage. You allegedly knew. So what makes you think that if he could hurt other people's children, that he wouldn't hurt yours? It's crazy. There's a case, this is a true crime story, how a woman knew that her husband was raping other people's kids, she never thought he would do it to her own children because those were his biological children, so he wouldn't touch them. But he did. Not only did he touch his own daughters, he killed his own daughters too. She never said anything for the longest time because she didn't want to break up her marriage. And do you know whose other children he was violating sexually? The children that went over to the house for a sleepover. Guys, don't send your daughters for sleepovers because you don't know those people that your child is going to. I might do a true crime story on that because it is sickening. Yeah. So anyway, she says what he has done to those kids, there are no words for him. He is a monster. And you added that monster. You enabled that monster, Drea. Don't start acting innocent, okay? Drea, to me, is one of the worst mothers. And I don't know how she's managed to escape this entire thing. She plays victim very well. Now, again, I'm not saying she was not a victim, but I'm saying she enabled him. You know? Anyway. She can't sit here. She always tries, every time there's this R. Kelly documentary, whether it's Surviving R. Kelly, now this one with the daughter, she tries to absolve herself from responsibility. Drea is to blame, not for R. Kelly's actions, but for not blowing the whistle quick enough. She would have spared some of those girls. Now, also, social media pointed out, was it just last week? Drea was outside dancing to R. Kelly's song, showing off, being proud of being associated with this man that is currently sitting in jail. She was busy dancing to R. Kelly's song. So how bad was R. Kelly to you that to this day you're so proud that you were once R. Kelly's wife? She's proud to have been married to the R&B king, right? Because, I mean, we can't take away R. Kelly's talent. He's great. And even this daughter that's accusing R. Kelly of doing things inappropriately to her, she uses his music trying to go viral. The man that you said did something inappropriate to you, somehow you're still using his music trying to go viral. You still want us to recognize you as R. Kelly's daughter. We've heard what R. Kelly's daughter had to say. We have to wait for the documentary to drop October 11th. Maybe then she'll go into some detail of exactly what she's talking about. Because we think there was inappropriate sexual contact with his daughter, it's making other people online side-eye Diddy. And even more so Diddy. Diddy has done everything R. Kelly has done times 10. No, times 1,000. Okay? Like those bottles of olive oil. Diddy allegedly has been dealing with minors. Diddy allegedly uses substances to make these women black out. Diddy is hiring male workers, okay, to engage with these women, some minors, some not, but it was not consensual, right? These women were raped by Diddy. What we found out is that Diddy is an addict, right? Young Miami, according to little Rodney Jones, used to transport pink substance, illegal substances for Diddy on his private plane from state to state. He was that addicted. He was that addicted. Diddy was so addicted that even when he came to New York in the hopes of turning himself into the feds, they refused. I don't know if you guys heard the story. The week Diddy was arrested, he actually came back to New York and he went to the feds, to the Southern District of New York, to surrender, right? I think he went there twice. The first time he went, they were like, no, who told you we're going to arrest you now? And the lawyers knew he was being arrested. They knew Diddy was being investigated. I mean, they even knew, based on the evidence the feds collected from his two homes, Miami and Los Angeles, they knew there was an indictment was coming. And they knew, based on where the investigation was, that at any point that week, Diddy was going to be arrested, right? Right. So his lawyer told him, come back to New York, surrender. Because if you surrender, you're going to be given bail, right? You are basically presenting yourself to the authorities in good faith. They don't have to come and get you. You're giving yourself up. So Diddy went the first time that week. The authorities said no. They knew the games Diddy and his lawyers were playing, so they said no. They went again. And again, the authorities said no. And then they went after him and arrested him. But you know how bad Diddy was addicted not only to illegal substances, but also sex? Even when Diddy knew he was under investigation, Cassie sued him. Rodney Jones sued him. The feds raided your homes. Diddy was still doing F-offs. Diddy was still flying prostitutes from Atlanta to Miami. And as you've seen with this recent lawsuit, right? The woman that just filed a lawsuit, she was still with Diddy in July. And Diddy was still stuffing her with pills in her mouth, blacking out and finding out that Diddy was busy biting her. 2024. After your homes have been raided, you know very well that the feds are looking at you. This is a person who's lost control, Diddy. He's an addict. So much so that when they went to arrest him, even when he came back to New York to surrender, they found the pink substance in his hotel room. Now, how am I connecting this to R. Kelly? If we believe what the daughter is saying is what we think she's saying, that there was inappropriate sexual contact, that if R. Kelly could not control himself, and what R. Kelly was accused of and what he did was not even as much as what Diddy is being accused of, what about Diddy? This is why the judge refused to give him bail. Diddy put up so much money for bail, $50 million, a home in, he paid off the mortgage, paid off $18 million in Florida, was going to give up that house, his mother's house, $50 million, the kids' passports to show good faith, and all of that money was over $100 million, and the government still said no. No. You know why they said no? They said there's no money in the world that can stop you from being the predator that you are. That's basically what they were communicating. You're still going to tamper with witnesses, right? You're still going to try to intimidate witnesses because he did it when Dawn Richard filed her lawsuit, right? Not only that, they understood that Diddy is an addict, not only to substances, but to always having sex. And you know why they even said no? You know what was part of Diddy's offer to get bail? Was that there were no women who were going to be allowed in the house, and he was not going to leave his house. But guess who could be in his house? Because that's also their home. His children. His daughters. So if you have a man who is so addicted that even when he knows he's under investigation, he's still forcing women to sleep with him, he's still using illegal substances to make these women black out. Think about if the government had said, okay, you stay in your house, you can't come in contact with any woman that's not your family. What was he going to do? Or what has he already done to his children? Now we are learning that his two daughters, the twins, they're moving to Los Angeles and they're looking for a house in Los Angeles. Your father is in New York, in prison in New York. He's going to be tried in New York. I know you can fly private every time, but it looks like they're trying to distance themselves from their father as much as possible. I don't know. Anyway, guys, are you going to watch this documentary? Thank you so much for watching the channel. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, engage, leave some comments. Leave some comments. They truly help this video get recommended, and you telling YouTube you've watched the video, whether you like the video or not. Say what you don't like about the video. Okay? Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Until the next one. Bye.